Hey, Dave Melenda here from Positive Polarity. Hope you're doing awesome. I am so excited to be hanging out with you for the next 10 minutes or so. This week, I have spent a lot of time traveling and talking about communication and actually listening to some of people's issues about communication. And I started to think about it from that different perspective of why does it matter? And so what if we have poor communication? And, I tried to look at it from a different angle. Hey, Dave Melenda, Positive Polarity. How are you? Happy Friday to you. Hope you're doing well. I just wanted to check in with you and spend some time with you talking about communication. And interestingly enough, there's a twist to this, and it's actually about stress. And so, interestingly enough, in 2019, 94% of the U.S. workforce has identified that there's stress at work. And so that's like everybody. So this is a topic that is not just affecting a few people. This is affecting everybody. 94% report stress at work. So what does it have to do with communication? I, again, spent a lot of time this week traveling, talking to people about communication in a couple different states, and just had a great time. But interestingly enough, I found out that about 80% of our stress that we experience comes from poor communication. So if 94% of our stress is at work, then 80% of that is because of communication. Okay, so, and I think, so what, right? That's probably what you're thinking. Okay, so what? Well, interestingly enough, from there, dig a little bit deeper, and the realization is 63% of the U.S. workers are ready to quit their jobs because of that stress. So that's where the crux of this gets really expensive really quick. And looking through this, you won't see a whole lot of money that you need to spend when you come and go through this. Now, I'm going to walk you through 7 areas that stress will manifest itself at work. And then I'm going to come up with a couple of different symptoms so you can get an identification on your side. Is this something that you're struggling with or not? So again, likely that you are, because 94% of us have stress at work. The second piece is 80% of that comes from poor communication. And then almost 2 out of 3 of the people sitting around you right now are ready to leave their jobs because of that stress. Maybe it's you. So I want to go through these 7 areas. I want to talk you through them. And I want to make sure that I spend a little bit of time on each one so that you can really unpack this for yourself. And as always, if you have questions, please call me, email me, do whatever you need to get a hold of me. Talk to somebody. If you don't want to talk to me, I'm fine with that. I hate seeing people living with this baggage every day. It's so thick in some offices, the stress that is there. Okay, so the first area that I want to talk about is our demands at work. Is there a balance of our time with our demands? The realization is more demands tend to mean more stress. And so more responsibilities mean more stress. So do you have enough time to do those demands? I see people with way more work than they're ever going to be able to complete. Just purely thinking about keeping up on emails, keeping up on phone calls, keeping up on social media posts, and all these different things are so stressful. And so I'm just asking you, from your perspective, do the demands in your day-to-day activity, do you have enough time for those? Now, most workers think they're overworked and underpaid, so I want to be really careful with that. However, there are plenty of people that are overworked. There's way too much stuff to get done. Secondly, the effort versus the reward. Does the effort that you put in match the reward that you get on the back end? That's the question that I ask a lot of people. Does the effort that you are putting in, does that meet the reward that you're getting? If not, that's stressful for people because they feel unappreciated. They don't feel like they are going to be here long term because they're not cutting it. So ask yourself, does the effort match the reward? Now, third, do you have control? Because powerlessness equals stress. If you have no control over your workload, you have no control over anything that goes on in your day-to-day activity, those are going to be signs that you're going to have stress. So that's the third one. The fourth one is organizational change. How do you do when change occurs? Some people, they stress out, and other people, they welcome stress. Now, what kind of change are we talking about? Technology, people, structure, procedures, any of those things can change on a dime in today's business climate. How do you do with that? How do you personally handle those types of change? Now, the fifth one is your leader, your manager, your supervisor, whatever words work for you. How are their demands? How realistic are they? How realistic are the deadlines? And again, it's easy to point fingers. It's easy to blame somebody else. So that's not what this is about. That's why I think one of the great ways to fix this is to create a deadline that you both agree on. If you agree on a deadline versus someone tells you that you need to get this done by this date, two completely, totally different ways of approaching the same issue. Now, the sixth one is actually similar to that, manager, leader, but it's the social support. What kind of social support do you get? Is there collaboration on your team? Are you promoting positive teamwork? Do you feel like your group is engaged at work? Oddly enough, only 1 in 3 people show up to their job every day engaged in their job. That's a statistic from Gallup that is pretty spot on. 1 out of 3 people every day show up, and their goal is to further themselves and to further the company. Okay, so ask yourself, how good is that support? If that support is lacking, it's easy to see stress because you feel unappreciated again. You don't feel like being in a positive environment. And you don't want to collaborate, not interested at all in doing that collaboration. Now, the last one then, the 7th area, is job security. So this is like the most fearful out of all of these. People fear job loss. Now, maybe today it's a little bit less because we have this, historically low unemployment. But there are plenty of people still out there that struggle with fearing their job going to be taken from them. A different way to look at this is, what about your advancement opportunities? Some people think they're going to be advanced too slow. It's taking too long for them to climb that corporate ladder. Conversely, there are people that are being promoted too quick, and that creates stress. If you run up the ladder as fast as you can, that's going to create a lot of stress. So those are 7 areas that I want you to look at. Now, interestingly enough, we offer an assessment. If you're totally thinking that some of these are accurate, but you're not really sure where they are, we assess those 7 areas on a stress quotient assessment. I'm happy to work with you on that, show you how that works. They run a scale from 0 to 100, 0 to 20, little to no stress, all the way up to 81 to 100 is severe stress. Now, quickly, I want to go through 4 symptoms that you might see involved in your life, and this will help you if you have these symptoms, it's possible that you're having these stress issues. So number one, physical symptoms, low energy, frequent illness. Check yourself there. Number two, emotional symptom. Are you irritable? Are you moody? Do you feel constantly overwhelmed at work? Number three, are they cognitive symptoms? Poor memory, can't concentrate, poor judgment. If you're noticing these things in your life, it's entirely possible that they are related to stress. And then the last one is behavioral symptom. Maybe your eating or sleeping patterns are off. Maybe you find yourself procrastinating more than normal. The other piece is maybe you have created a nervous habit. Whatever these are, the goal of your company is to give you, hopefully, the best environment possible for you to be able to maximize the tools and the reasons that they hired you. Remember, they hired us for a reason. We hired that person on our team for a reason. Let's make sure that the environment is ridiculously comfortable and so built around that team member that none of these are an issue. I've done assessments for people where these are issues. I've had people where they have severe stress, and when you see over 80, I had one person that had 100 on this. It's basically says that this is serious. You have to deal with this right now. So if stress is an issue on your team, if stress is an issue on your job and your life, please reach out to me, Dave Melenda, Positive Polarity. Email me at dave@positivepolarity.com or 414-322-2358. I'll be happy to help. I don't want you to go through this by yourself. This is so critical. 94 out of 100 people that you come in contact with every day experience this. Those are the areas we talked about, and those are the symptoms. We don't want to see this linger in our society anymore. So I hope that this helped. Please leave me a comment. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on LinkedIn. Appreciate your time. And please live stress-free, okay? Thanks.